Chaparral is a shrubland, a heathland plant community found primarily in the U.S. state of California and in the northern portion of the Baja California Peninsula, Mexico. It is shaped by a Mediterranean climate and wildfire, featuring summer drought-tolerant plants with hard sclerophyllous evergreen leaves, as contrasted with the associated soft-leaved drought-deciduous scrub community of coastal sage scrub, found below the chaparral biome. Chaparral covers 5% of the state of California and associated Mediterranean shrubland an additional 3.5%. The name comes from the Spanish word for scrub, chaparro. Introduction. In its natural state, chaparral is characterized by infrequent fires, with intervals ranging between 10 to 15 years to over 100 years. Mature chaparral is characterized by nearly impenetrable, dense thickets. These plants are highly flammable. They grow as woody shrubs with hard and small leaves, are non-leaf dropping, and are drought-tolerant. After the first rains following a fire, the landscape is dominated by soft-leaved non-woody annual plants, known as fire followers, which die back with the summer dry period. Similar plant communities are found in the 4 other Mediterranean climate regions around the world, including the Mediterranean Basin, central Chile, the South African Cape region, and in western and southern Australia. According to the California Academy of Sciences, Mediterranean shrubland contains more than 20% of the world's plant diversity. The word chaparral is a loan word from Spanish chaparro, meaning both small and dwarf evergreen oak, which itself comes from the Basque word texapar, with exactly the same meaning. Conservation International and other conservation organizations consider the chaparral to be a biodiversity hotspot, a biological community with a large number of different species that is under threat by human activity. California chaparral. California chaparral and woodlands ecoregion. The California chaparral and woodlands ecoregion of the Mediterranean forests, woodlands, and scrub biome has 3 sub-ecoregions with ecosystem plant community subdivisions: California coastal sage and chaparral, in coastal southern California and northwestern coastal Baja California, as well as all of the Channel Islands off California and Guadalupe Island. California montane chaparral and woodlands, in southern and central coast adjacent and inland California regions, including covering some of the mountains of the California coast ranges, the transverse ranges, and the western slopes of the northern peninsula ranges. California interior chaparral and woodlands, in central interior California surrounding the Central Valley, covering the foothills and lower slopes of the northeastern transverse ranges and the western Sierra Nevada range. Chaparral and woodlands biota. For the numerous individual plant and animal species found within the California chaparral and woodlands ecoregion, see Flora of the California chaparral and woodlands. Fauna of the California chaparral and woodlands. Some of the indicator plants of the California chaparral and woodlands ecoregion include Quercus species, oaks, i.e., Quercus agrifolia, Cos live oak, Quercus berbridifolia, scrub oak, Quercus chrysolepis, canyon live oak, Quercus douglasii, blue oak, Quercus whislersoni, interior live oak. Artemisia species, sagebrush, i.e., Artemisia californica, California sagebrush, coastal sagebrush. Arctostaphylos species, manzanitas, i.e. Arctostaphylos glauca, bigberry manzanita, Arctostaphylos manzanita, common manzanita. Ceanothus species, California lilacs, i.e. Ceanothus cuneatus, buckbrush Ceanothus megacarpus, bigpod Ceanothus. Rus species, sumacs, i.e., Rus integrifolia, lemonade berry, Rus ovata, sugarbush. Eriogonum species buckwheat, i.e. Eriogonum fasciculatum, California buckwheat. Salvia species, sages, i.e. Salvia clevelandi, Cleveland sage. Salvia mellifera, black sage. California cismontane and transmontane chaparral subdivisions. Another phytogeography system uses two California chaparral and woodlands subdivisions, the cismontane chaparral and the transmontane chaparral. California cismontane chaparral. Cismontane chaparral refers to the chaparral ecosystem in the Mediterranean forests, woodlands, and scrub biome in California, growing on the western sides of large mountain range systems, such as the western slopes of the Sierra Nevada in the San Joaquin Valley foothills, western slopes of the Peninsula Ranges and California Coast Ranges, and south-southwest slopes of the transverse ranges in the Central Coast and Southern California regions. Cismontane chaparral plant species in Central and Southern California. Chaparral forms a dominant habitat. Members of the chaparral biota native to California, all of which tend to regrow quickly after fires, include Adenostoma fasciculatum, Camais, Adenostoma sparcifolium, red shanks, Arctostaphylos spp, Manzanita, Ceanothus spp, Ceanothus, Cercocarpus spp, mountain mahogany, Snaroiridium dumosum, bush rue, Eriogonum fasciculatum, California buckwheat, Garrya spp, silk tasselbush, Hespera yucca whipplei, yucca, Heteromeles arbutifolia, toyon, Acmispon glaber, deerweed, Malosma laurina, laurel sumac, Mirar macrocarpus, wild cucumber, Mimulus aurantiacus, bush monkey flower, Pickeringia montana, chaparral pea, Prunus ilicifolia, Ilea holly-leaf cherry, Quercus berbridifolia, scrub oak, Q. Jamosa, scrub oak, Q. Wisleysenia ivar, fruit essence, Rhamnus californica, California coffee berry, Ras integrifolia, lemonade berry, Rasavata, sugarbush, Salvia piana, white sage, Salvia mellifera, black sage, Xylococcus bicolor, mission manzanita, cismontane chaparral bird species. The complex ecology of chaparral habitats supports a very large number of animal species. The following is a short list of birds which are an integral part of the cismontane chaparral ecosystems. The species essential to the health of the ecosystem include California thrasher, California towhee, spotted towhee, western scrub jay. Very common inhabitant species include Anna's hummingbird, bush-tit, Costa's hummingbird, greater roadrunner, wren-tit. California transmontane chaparral, transmontane chaparral. A desert chaparral, transmontane chaparral, refers to the desert shrubland habitat and chaparral plant community growing in the rain shadow of these ranges. Transmontane chaparral features xeric desert climate, not Mediterranean climate habitats, and is also referred to as desert chaparral. Desert chaparral is a regional ecosystem subset of the deserts and xeric shrublands biome, with some plant species from the California chaparral and woodlands ecoregion. Unlike cismontane chaparral, which forms dense, impenetrable stands of plants, desert chaparral is open, with only about 50% of the ground covered. Individual shrubs can reach up to 10 feet in height. Transmontane chaparral. A desert chaparral is found on the eastern slopes of major mountain range systems on the western sides of the deserts of California. The mountain systems include the southeastern transverse ranges in the Mojave Desert north and northeast of the Los Angeles Basin and Inland Empire, and the northern Peninsula Ranges, which separate the Colorado Desert from lower coastal Southern California. It is distinguished from the cis-montane chaparral found on the coastal side of the mountains, which experiences higher winter rainfall. Naturally, desert chaparral experiences less winter rainfall than cis-montane chaparral. Plants in this community are characterized by small, hard evergreen leaves. Desert chaparral grows above California's desert cactus scrub plant community and below the pinyon juniper woodland. It is further distinguished from the deciduous subalpine scrub above the pinyon juniper woodlands on the same side of the peninsula ranges. Transmontane chaparral distribution. Transmontane chaparral typically grows on the lower elevation northern slopes of the southern transverse ranges and on the lower eastern slopes of the peninsula ranges. It can also be found in higher elevation sky islands in the interior of the deserts, such as in the upper New York mountains within the Mojave National Preserve in the Mojave Desert. The California transmontane chaparral is found in the rain-shadow deserts of the Sierra Nevada, creating the Great Basin Desert and northern Mojave Desert. Transverse ranges creating the western through eastern Mojave Desert, peninsula ranges creating the Colorado Desert and Utah Desert. Transmontane chaparral plants are Denostoma fasciculatum, Camais, Agave deserti, desert agave, Arctostaphylos glauca, bigberry manzanita, Ceanothus gregi, desert Ceanothus, California lilac, Cercocarpus ledophyllus, curl-leaf mountain mahogany, a nitrogen fixer, important food source for desert bighorn sheep, Dendron conrigia, douche poppy, Ephedra spp, Mormontes, Fremontodendron californicum, California flannelbush, Opentura canthocarpa, buckhorn cholla, Opentura cynocarpa, silver golden cholla, Opentura theacantha, desert prickly pear, Persia tridentata, buckbrush, antelope bitterbrush, Prunus fremonti, desert apricot, Prunus fasciculata, desert almond, Prunus illichifilia, holly-leaved cherry, Quercus cornelius mulleri, desert scrub oak, Muller's oak, Rasavata, sugarbush, Simonsia chinensis, jojoba, Yucca shidagera, Mojave yucca, Hespera yucca whippeli, foothill yucca, Our Lord's candle. Transmontane chaparral animals. There is overlap of animals with those of the adjacent desert and pinyon juniper communities: Canis latrans, coyotes, Lynx rufus, bobcats, Neotoma sp, desert pack rat, Odocoileus hemionus, mule deer, Ovis canadensis, bighorn sheep, Paramiscus true, pinyon mouse, resembles the California mouse. Puma concolor, mountain lions, Stagmomantis californica, the California mantis, chaparral and wildfires. The chaparral is a coastal biome with hot, dry summers and mild, rainy winters. The chaparral area receives about 38 to 100 centimeters of precipitation a year. This makes the chaparral most vulnerable to fire in the late summer and fall. The chaparral ecosystem as a whole is adapted to be able to recover from infrequent wildfires. Indeed, chaparral regions are known culturally and historically for their impressive fires. Additionally, Native Americans burned chaparral to promote grasslands for textiles and food. Before a major fire, typical chaparral plant communities are dominated by manzanita, Camais and Ceanothus species, toyon, and other drought-resistant shrubs with hard leaves. These plants resprout from underground burls after a fire. Some chaparral plant communities may grow so dense and tall that it becomes difficult for large animals and humans to penetrate, but may be teeming with smaller fauna in the understory. Many chaparral plant species require some fire cue for germination. Others, such as annual and herbaceous species like Phacelia, require fires to allow sunlight to reach them, and are known as fire followers. During the time shortly after a fire, chaparral communities may contain soft-leaved herbaceous annual plants that dominate the community for the first few years, until the burr, resprouts and seedlings of chaparral perennials create an overstory, blocking the sunlight from other plants in the community. When the overstory regrows, seeds of annuals and smaller plants may lie dormant until the next fire creates the conditions required for germination. Mid-sized plants such as ceanothus fix nitrogen, while others cannot, which, together with the need for exposure to the sun, creates a symbiotic relationship of the entire community with infrequent fires. Because of the hot, dry conditions that exist in the California summer and fall, chaparral is one of the most fire-prone plant communities in North America. Some fires are caused by lightning, but these are usually during periods of high humidity and low winds and are easily controlled. Nearly all of the very large wildfires are caused by human activity during periods of very hot, dry easterly Santa Ana winds. These man-made fires are commonly caused by power line failures, vehicle fires and collisions, sparks from machinery, arson, or campfires. Though adapted to infrequent fires, chaparral plant communities can be exterminated by frequent fires. Today, frequent accidental ignitions can convert chaparral from a native shrubland to non-native annual grassland and drastically reduce species diversity, especially under global change-type drought. Wildfire debate. There are two assumptions relating to California chaparral fire regimes that appear to have caused considerable debate, and sometimes confusion and controversy, within the fields of wildfire ecology and land management. That older stands of chaparral become senescent or decadent, thus implying that fire is necessary for the plants to remain healthy. That wildfire suppression policies have allowed dead chaparral to accumulate unnaturally, creating ample fuel for large fires. The perspective that older chaparral is unhealthy or unproductive may have originated during the 1940s when studies were conducted measuring the amount of forage available to deer populations in chaparral stands. However, according to recent studies, California chaparral is extraordinarily resilient to very long periods without fire and continues to maintain productive growth throughout pre-fire conditions. Seeds of many chaparral plants actually require 30 years or more worth of accumulated leaf litter before they will successfully germinate. When intervals between fires drop below 10 to 15 years, many chaparral species are eliminated and the system is typically replaced by non-native, invasive, weedy grassland. The idea that older chaparral is responsible for causing large fires was originally proposed in the 1980s by comparing wildfires in Baja California and Southern California. It was suggested that fire suppression activities in Southern California allowed more fuel to accumulate, which in turn led to larger fires. This is similar to the argument that fire suppression in western United States has allowed ponderosa pine forests to become overstocked. In the past, surface fires burned through these forests at intervals of anywhere between 4 and 36 years, clearing out the understory and creating a more ecologically balanced system. However, chaparral has a crown fire regime, meaning that fires consume the entire system whenever they burn. In one study, a detailed analysis of historical fire data concluded that fire suppression activities have failed to exclude fire from Southern California chaparral, as they have in ponderosa pine forests. In addition, the number of fires is increasing in step with population growth. Chaparral stand age does not have a significant correlation to its tendency to burn. Low humidity, low fuel moisture, and high winds appear to be the primary factors in determining when, where, and how large a chaparral fire burns. Bibliography. Heading T.L. and J. Keeley, 1993. Role of high fire frequency in destruction of mixed chaparral. Madrino 40 to 141-147. Alsey, R.W. 2008. Fire, Chaparral, and Survival in Southern California. 2nd edition. Sunbelt Publications, San Diego, California. 232p. Haynes, T. L. 1971. Succession After Fire in the Chaparral of Southern California. ECOL. Monographs 41-27-52. Hubbard, R.F. 1986. Stand Age and Growth Dynamics in Comize Chaparral. Master's Thesis, San Diego State University, San Diego, California. Keeley, J. C. J. Fotheringham, and M. Morris, 1999. Re-examining fire suppression impacts on brushland fire regimes. Science 284-1829-1832. Keeley, J. E. 1995. Future of California Floristics and Systematics, Wildfire Threats to the California Flora. Madrino 42-175-179. Keeley, J. E. A. H. Pfaff, and H. D. Stafford, 2005. Fire suppression impacts on post-fire recovery of Sierra Nevada chaparral shrublands. International Journal of Wildland Fire 14-255-265. Larragaudry, A. T. W. Hubbard, and J. Kumarau, 1990. Growth dynamics of two chaparral shrub species with time after fire. Madrino 37-225-236. Minich, R. A. 1983. Fire mosaics in Southern California and Northern Baja California. Science 219-1287-1294. Moritz, M. A. J. Keeley, E. A. Johnson, and D. A. Schaffner, 2004. Testing a basic assumption of shrubland fire management. How important is fuel age? Frontiers in Ecology and the Environment 2-67-72. Pratt, R. B. A. L. Jacobson, A. R. Ramirez, A. M. Helms, C. A. Traw, M. F. Tobin, M. S. Hefner, and S. D. Davis, 2013. Mortality of resprouting chaparral shrubs after a fire and during a record drought. Physiological mechanisms and demographic consequences. Global Change Biology. Seifert, A.D., V.C. Radloff, J. Keeley, T.J. Horbaker, M. K. Clayton, S.I. Stewart, and R.B. Hammer, 2007. Human Influence on California Fire Regimes. Ecological Applications 17-1488-1402. Vale, T. R. 2002. Fire, Native Peoples, and the Natural Landscape. Island Press, Washington, D.C., USA. Zedler, P. H. 1995. Fire Frequency in Southern California Shrublands, Biological Effects and Management Options, pp. 101-112 in J. Keeley and T. Scott. Brushfires in California Wildlands, Ecology and Resource Management. International Association of Wildland Fire, Fairfield, Wash. Campbell, Neil A., Brad Williamson, Robin J. Hayden. Biology, Exploring Life. Boston, Massachusetts. Pearson Prentice Hall. ISBN 0-13-250882-6.